Okay, what if I told you there's a hidden blueprint, a really simple three-part formula that actually governs the stability of, well, everything? And I'm not just talking about big stuff like atoms or galaxies. I mean, companies, governments, even you. Today, we're going to dig into a theory that's so ambitious, it claims to be nothing less than the universal formula for reality itself. All right, so let's jump right in. The whole theory kicks off not with some crazy complicated equation, but with a really simple, kind of provocative observation about a pattern that's supposedly hidden in plain sight. And it starts with a question that honestly sounds more like a riddle. You ready? What does a garage, a human, and a galaxy all have in common? I mean, your first thought is probably absolutely nothing, right? But this theory says, nope. They're all built from the exact same three-part blueprint.
And here it is. This is that blueprint. What's so wild is how the theory breaks it all down. It basically says that for anything, and I mean anything, to exist in a stable way, it has to have these three things all at the same time. It needs a form, that's the what it is. It needs a position, the where it is, and it needs an action, the what it does. Take away even one of those, and the whole thing just collapses.
Okay, so if form, position, and action are the essential ingredients for, existing, how does this theory actually turn that into a formula? Well, let's take a look at the core idea it proposes. They call it the zero principle. And honestly, it's kind of beautiful in how simple it is. Get this. Reality equals form times position times action. And that word times is everything. It's a product, not a sum. And what does that mean? It means if any one of those things, form, position, or action, hits zero, your whole reality score goes to zero. Poof! You just stop existing in any kind of stable, coherent way. So let's break that down a bit. First up, you've got form. This is basically the what. It's the structure, the identity, the boundaries, the rules that make a thing what it is and not something else. Like the actual walls and roof of a garage or the constitution of a country. Then you've got position. That's the where. I mean, a thing can't just exist in a total vacuum, right? It has to be somewhere. This is its address, its territory, its specific place in a community. Position is what gives it context and access to all the resources it needs. And last but not least, we have action. This is the what it does. A system can't just sit there. It has to do something. It needs a function. A nation governs. An atom bonds. A garage, well, it parks a car. Action is its purpose, the dynamic part that proves it's actually alive and not just a lump of stuff. And the really crucial thing to get here is that these aren't like optional add-ons. They're all absolutely essential and they all depend on each other. I love how the source material puts it. It's so direct. You cannot have half a garage. You cannot half exist. You need the walls, the address, and the function of parking a car all at the same time, or you don't really have a garage at all. Okay, now this is where the theory takes a really, really big swing. This is the audacious part. It claims this three-part structure isn't just some neat little philosophical idea. No, it's a universal law that scales all the way from the quantum level right up to how we organize human civilization. And this right here is the heart of that audacious leap. The claim is that the rules that make an atom stable are structurally identical, the fancy word is isomorphic, to the rules that make a society stable. Just think about that. It's like saying the architectural blueprint is exactly the same, whether you're building with protons and electrons or with people and laws. It's a pretty radical idea, trying to draw a straight line from quantum physics to politics. So to make this clearer, the theory even provides this kind of Rosetta Stone to show how this pattern just repeats over and over. Look at an atom. You've got the electron shell, the nucleus, and chemical bonding. Okay, now look at a stable organization. The theory argues this maps directly onto its ethics, its efficiency, and its fairness. The words are different, sure, but that core three-part structure, it stays exactly the same. So basically, when we jump from the physical world into the social world, we just give these things new names. Form becomes the code, the rules, the ethics, the constitution. Position becomes the credo. That's all about efficiency and how it manages its resources. And action becomes rights, which covers things like justice, fairness, and what you can expect from the system. Right. This is the point where the theory tries to go from being this abstract idea to an actual practical tool. Because if you can define the pillars of a stable society, the next big question is, can you measure them? And this theory's answer is a very confident yes. Absolutely. And it does that by introducing something called the U-Score. Think of it as a single number, a key performance indicator for reality itself. Kind of wild, right? The whole goal is to be able to audit any organization or even a whole country on how healthy its code, credo, and rights are, and then boil all of that down into one single score. But it doesn't stop there. It then proposes a universal tipping point, a line in the sand for survival. And that number is 61.8%. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's borrowed from the famous golden ratio. According to the theory, if any system, a company, a country, you name it, dips below that U-score, it's not just in a bit of trouble. It is on a predictable mathematical path to complete collapse. And to see how this is supposed to work in the real world, the source material gives us a really stark comparison. You take a stable, prosperous country like Switzerland, it scores a healthy 82%. But then you look at a nation in a deep, deep crisis like Venezuela, and its score is a desperately low 18%. That's way, way below that 61.8% survival line. So this isn't just some abstract number on a chart, it's presented as a direct, vital sign of a nation's health. So, what's the end game here? For a theory this big and this ambitious, where does it all lead? Well, it doesn't just want to describe the world. It actually lays out a plan to re-engineer it, and it throws down a serious challenge to the entire scientific community. And the ultimate vision, honestly, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction. The proposal is for a planetary AI architecture. We're talking about a global network of AIs whose only job is to constantly measure the U-score of every company and every country on the planet. The result would be this totally objective, manipulation-proof dashboard showing the health of our world. The goal is nothing less than total transparency and global governance. But here's a really crucial point. The theory isn't presented as some kind of new religion you have to believe in. It's framed as a testable, falsifiable scientific hypothesis. The author basically throws down the gauntlet and says, don't believe me, try to break it. Go find me one single stable thing in the entire universe that exists without a form, a position, and an action. If you can find just one, the whole theory comes crashing down. And so that leaves us with the biggest question of all, doesn't it? Is a universal formula for existence actually possible? Or is this incredibly elegant theory just a beautiful illusion? A clever way to see simple order in a universe that might just be, at its heart, completely chaotic? You know, the search for that answer, that's really what science is all about.
Thank you.